My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Capricorns. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing your general love reading, your 5 card spread. But before I do that, I want to offer these 12 red roses as a token of my love and devotion towards you for supporting me and loving me. And I love you guys incredibly. And thank you so much for even joining me today. So this 5 card love reading includes that the first card represents you, the second, the other person, the third, the relationship, the fourth, the past, and fifth, the future. Then I'm going to draw a Vampire Oracle for you, and then a Favole, and then 1 card from the French Tarot deck of Le Tarot Interdit Vampiria. But let's get started with card number 1, which is for you, and my goodness. The big bad wolf of the 5 of Pentacles decided to show up. Wow. And the Rider-Waite, it's called... it's a poverty card and being left out in the cold kind of card. Aha. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like, the thing is what I'm kind of getting here is, the big bad wolf decided to show up in the form where you pretty much just think, goodness, it's like, it's not, it's pretty much maybe on a parallel scale of the devil, but this is pretty much like maybe having a low self-esteem, maybe lack of faith, or maybe self-doubt within yourself, where you pretty much just think, goodness, the big bad wolf of my past traumas probably, or, will pretty much just, decide to show up in current times for me and stuff like that. I mean, if you've ever felt like that you were rejected, ignored, refused, and stuff like that, that's kind of also like being left out in the cold in other ways, where, the person just had to close the door on you, or just ignore you, or walk away and just say, nope, absolutely not. But the 5 of Pentacles could also be that maybe, you had your finances drained from you. Because maybe, let's say you went through one of those brutal divorces, and I've even witnessed humans even experiencing that. So hopefully that was not at all the case, where you pretty much got your, finances, your wedding, possessions taken away from you and stuff like that after the divorce and breakup and stuff. So pretty much left you in a sense of poverty in other ways as well. Or you could also have Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo placements. But let's see who the other person is, because the other person gets the Ace of Swords, putting time and effort into something. Aquarius, Libra, Gemini energy. And it's interesting because Aquarius is practically one of your neighboring cards. But what I mostly see here is this person probably put time and effort on maybe draining you metaphorically, and maybe that's what put you in a position where maybe, it's like, it pretty much is kind of metaphorically drained you of your resources, hopefully not your actual blood resources for that matter. But it looks like that this person used the swords to carve his or her way through the jungle of uncertainty, just to be thinking, oh goodness, it's like, this person probably, just, did some major damage to you. And I'm really sorry if this does resonate in that aspect, because I feel like that nobody should ever be suffering or struggling or dealing with any kind of like negative events, like a 5 of Pentacles situation in any way. But what I'm also getting here is maybe, this person, sees potential in this relationship. Maybe, you're, struggling and stuff like that, but maybe this person, is going to do whatever it takes just to be with you. This person just sees so much potential in who you are and doesn't ever see you as a big bad wolf in any way. And this person is going to do whatever it takes just to head towards you and say, I want to put time and effort because I see potential between you and me in that aspect. Because the relationship, Lord of Scepters, King of Wands, Leo energy, there's so much confidence and strength in this relationship where you pretty much, will do anything it takes just to mend. It's kind of like having a tower moment. It's kind of like, maybe struggling, maybe you've been through some kind of conflicts or fights and stuff like that in so many ways and stuff like that. But either way, there's so much potential taking place, and maybe that's what the other person, either on a positive note, someone just thinks, I'm going to do whatever it takes just to head off towards you, and I'm putting time and effort into doing whatever it takes. And maybe, it's like, this person, other people probably see you as like an outsider, a renegade, a misfit, loner, wanderer in other ways. And maybe this other person actually, sees you as their most beloved jewel and gem in different ways as well. And that's kind of what this confidence is also about. But you could also maybe personally, be struggling on the inside with lack of faith, self-doubt, insecurities, and stuff like that. But here you are putting time and effort on turning yourself into a very confident, having like a rejuvenating feeling, and well, journey you're heading down towards in other ways as well. Because it's like how that saying goes, if you build it they will come. It's like a lot of people are so intrigued, if they see development taking place, if they see new beginnings taking place, whether it's new buildings, new products, in the form of commercials and stuff like that, whatever it is, that pretty much anything new, that pretty much it just draws people like, what's going on here? I wonder what the end product is going to be. And if you're in the sense of actually, well, putting time and effort to improve your current situation, a lot of people are going to be intrigued. They're going to be like saying, what's going on here? Because in the past, speaking of wanting to manifest something, you get the Magician. You are manifesting something, but maybe in current times you probably, got hit with a sense of, self-doubt, lack of clarity, and uncertainty, maybe a bit of anything, that will contribute to the Five of Pentacles kind of situation. But you were definitely manifesting, and you were creating something. And it's interesting because it's like it's Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, and what is this card mostly about is Gemini, Virgo energy. So this probably could have already taken place at the start of August 23rd, the start of Virgo. But either way, it's pretty much like you're putting in a lot of time and effort into wanting to create this new you, or even wanting to start establishing a relationship with somebody. And that's kind of it, it's like a lot of these humans, they might come from like maybe like a real negative background of some kind, but then, it's like what they want to do is they want to create this way better, positive, stronger, more confident individual and stuff like that. And as long as you're the one that puts time, effort, and energy into, your process, your development, stuff like that, that's what I already saw you doing at the start, or at least in the past of wherever it may have taken place. Because in the future you get Temperance, Sagittarius energy. You could personally have Sagittarius, which is actually another one of your neighboring, zodiacs, stuff like that. But you're going to be in a serene, balanced, and at peace mindset in the future. Or of course, this could also be taking place at the start of November 21st, which is at the start of Sagittarius season for that matter. But I just see that you're going to be in a very stable and balanced mindset and position in the future. But of course, it's like if you're in the process of divorce and something, or breakup, I do see that also taking place. But you're incredibly confident about this divorce and breakup as well, because, it's like maybe you feel like, your ex-wife, your ex-husband, your ex-girlfriend, boyfriend pretty much just only drained you of your resources and stuff like that, but you remain incredibly strong and confident and bold, and you're already manifesting, this outcome of like, this, breakup or divorce, and you're going to be in a very still, serene, passionate, strong, confident position in the future, because I think once all the drama is over, this is going to be you, even though it is, it isn't a Capricorn's card for that matter, but you're still going to be in a very strong, confident position in the future. Because Oracle wants to continue with redemption, absolution, forgiveness, and penance. Do a lot of redemption for yourself by actually loving yourself, treating yourself with so much love, respect, devotion, and devote all of your positivity towards yourself. If you want to have absolution, give that all to yourself. Forgiveness, a lot of self-forgiveness, because with any kind of like courtship dates, with any kind of like risks or uncertainties and stuff like that, the thing is if something doesn't work as planned or something, you pretty much just thought, well, I had this very beautiful idea that I was going to meet this man or woman of my dreams, and then it just turned into one big nightmare where this person just only drained me of everything, and now I'm pretty much like I have to do a lot of self-forgiveness. We'll do a lot of self-forgiveness. You didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know, at the start of your dates, unless there were already some red flags that you pretty much just kind of missed, or just thought, nah, I'm not going to, I'm not going to take immediate action as of yet. But this is also just doing a lot of self-love and self-forgiveness, because you just didn't know it was going to end like that. And if you want to do any penance, by actually, just take good care of yourself, do a lot of self-love, self-healing, self-support, self-devotion on so many levels, and that's kind of what the Oracle has for you for today's reading. Because Favole wants to continue with the Ten of Wands. hard work and feeling burdened, but this is what I see. If you've struggled with any kind of like divorce or breakup, never underestimate the heaviness and energy that you've put into it. You're going to probably be faced with a lot of hard work in a sense of overcoming a lot of, like the negativities, working on yourself, redeveloping yourself, recreating, remanifesting something in the past or even in the future for that matter. Because that's what I kind of see you doing is, you might feel burdened, you might feel like you're struggling and stuff like that, but a lot of hard work will eventually pay off. And that's what I see you doing is, you're redeeming yourself by actually putting all the hard work, that you once, thought was in a potential beautiful relationship into yourself. And that's the most important person you should always be devoting your time and energy into is your own self and well-being. Because not everybody's always going to be doing that for yourself. And even if you're in a give and takes kind of relationship, the only person who's always going to be feeling your own personal well-being is you. And that's kind of what Favole has is, you might feel a bit burdened in the future. You might be struggling with a lot of hard work, but that's kind of the side effect from experiencing like any divorce or breakup for that matter is that it will require a lot of hard work to rebuild yourself again because you were already manifesting this outcome for yourself in the past. Because the Tarot Interdit Vampirium wants to finish with As d'Argent, Ace of Pentacles. So, you're entering into this new phase, this new offering that's going to be taking place, and it's one of your beautiful cards for being a beautiful Capricorn, grounded earth, and down to earth, rational, realistic earth sign, is that you pretty much are going to be either A, offered a new beginning, or B, you're going to be putting all that Ace of Pentacles into your own personal well-being and your own self, and that's the most important person you need to always be focusing on, especially if you're going to be putting a lot of hard work. Go on beautiful journeys by yourself, dine at lavish restaurants or any kind of venues that really make you happy, that give you fulfillment, that give you purpose, that give you everything that you want. And because if you personally have suffered from definitely a Five of Pentacles, if maybe have suffered in other ways, take excellent good care of yourself. Forgive yourself for what you did not know, and will forgive yourself for everything that you just don't know, because any kind of situation that ends up in a negative outcome, it's even, when I got turned into a vampire, I was just practically just doing a lot of penance. I was pretty much just so angry with my current self. I just thought, why did I allow that to happen? Why didn't I take immediate steps? How could I have avoided that? Well, the thing is, it's like, A, I was so naive. B, I was very young. C, it's like my mind was elsewhere, and that's more or less how the predator approached the prey, because my mind was absent in the way of thinking I need to focus on cleaning up my store for, my next customers the day, after and stuff like that. And then here he comes in. And that's kind of what, you and I mostly have in common, is that we have to do a lot of self-forgiveness and stuff like that. So, but here's a wonderful, beautiful outcome for you in today's reading. My beautiful Capricorns, I'm going to sabot you. I have to leave it out here, but be rest assured that in a few days I'm going to return back to my general readings. So, but if anybody out there is interested in a personal reading, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel, post in the little discussion box below that you want a personal reading from me. I'll respond to you with my email, but there's a website, it's called Project Page, and it has the different types of prices for personal readings. All you have to do is indeed let me know in the discussion box, and I'll get these notifications, from anybody who writes or comments and stuff like that, so then I'll know who to respond to and stuff like that. But otherwise, love you guys incredibly. Thank you so much for joining me today. Best of luck on where this journey may take you, and I love you guys incredibly.